The top moneymaker in his new empire was a Chicago white slave ring, run by Capone's partner, Mig Torrance. March 31, 1934, Elliot Ness led a raiding party on one of Capone's houses of prostitution. It was the 7th such raid since Federal man Ness had been assigned to break up the ring. Inside the house, the inmates, having been tipped off by certain corrupt police officials in the city government, were escaping through a trapdoor in the cellar leading to a tunnel on the waterfront. In one of the rooms, a girl lay dead. Mourning at her...
Mary Sage is a prostitute. The story is how she got that way. How the punks get kids like her started on drugs so that once they're hooked, they'll do anything for a fix.
Bless you.
Look, fellas, I need your help to wake up the public. Drugs are only one of the techniques that punks use to trap young girls. They work through the mails, too. Plan advertisements in magazines. Answer an ad, learn how to become a glamorous Hollywood star. Enter a beauty contest and learn how to become a glamorous model. Phony lures to meet young kids and trap them into the glamorous profession of prostitution. These punks know how, and they're as organized as any big business.
Who gets the credit for that? Mig Torrance or Al Capone?
The credit belongs to the public, who sit on their big fat apathies and give the Torrances and the Capones a chance to organize.
The law usually doesn't get too excited either. Present company accepted.
That's where you newspapermen come in. You can reach the public. Give them the raw facts behind kids who end up like Mary Sage. Get them excited enough to pressure the law.
Trouble is, Mr. Joe Average isn't going to come out fighting when you mention prostitution. It's like booze was. So it's illegal, so what? That's the attitude.
I'm after the super punk who's made big business out of it, who runs this town, who gives the orders that makes Joe Average jump.
But you've already got Al Capone in jail, Mr. Ness.
That's right, we've got Capone, and we haven't stopped him yet, but we will. And one of the ways is to get his vice president in charge of white slavery, Mig Torrance.
Get him where? Safe in jail where he can operate like Capone?
If you guys had needled the public the way you're needling me, the picture might be different.
Mr. Ness, did Torrance ever try to buy you off?
There's been some second-hand romancing, but I think he's got my message by now.
Well, I guess we can make a 2-column story.
Just get as much as you can to the public. That's all I ask.
Every day, Ness hammered at Mig Torrance's enterprises, bogus model agencies, dramatic schools, all the fronts that covered his nefarious methods. And at night, the raids on the houses. But the one that Ness could not locate was the house that Torrance made his headquarters. In his office, Mig Torrance was playing uneasy host to 3 of Al Capone's boys. Bob Wheaton, chief liaison between Capone and his empire, while the big boy was in prison. Nicky Flanagan, accountant, the man who kept the books for the organization. Ned Goldie Gold, the wisest and the gentlest of the group, who supplied whiskey for the nightclubs and the houses of prostitution. And last, but not least, chief white slaver for the organization, Mig Torrance.
Elliot Ness is only a lousy cop. I know what to do with a cop. I can't lay some cash on him. I decorate him between the eyes.
No more, Mig Torrance, rough talk.
That's right, cockroach. Who don't like it?
Talk logical. Nobody's gonna knock off Ness. If the boss couldn't, you can't.
That don't necessarily follow.
The boss wants to know how you figure to stay in business. He thinks now that Ness is making it tough, you got your chance to prove you're worth the 50% cut we're paying you.
Nobody's paying me no cut. I'm my own boss. I financed myself. I got the girls. The big boss, the great Al Capone, he moved in on me. All right, okay, I agreed to cut him in, but I don't have to prove him nothing.
Partner's got a place between the eyes for a bullet like anyone else, Mig.
Are you giving me the shaft, Wheaton? I don't like the shaft for no cockroach, Wheaton. I'm warning you.
We're only delivering the boss's message. You better listen to the rest. The boss is concerned with staying in operation. We can't operate without girls. Half the girls quit since Ness started in on us. He's wise to the ads in the magazines, and now last week he starts in on the phony dramatic schools, which is our big source of supply. How are you going to operate without girls? That's what the boss wants to know.
I'll be getting all the girls I need soon. New ones from Mexico, young. been making my arrangements for a week now.
Green girls?
So what?
Young girls don't stay loyal, Meg.
You want to walk in my shoes too, Goldie? You get the girls?
We're all talking from the boss's shoes. He says to remind you what this very house used to be like when Mrs. B ran it. How her girls would stay with her through thick and thin. She used to have to pension them off to get them out.
You got to know how to treat girls, Mig.
Even suppose Ness croaks tomorrow. You still got that problem.
That's why the boss come up with an answer for you.
What kind of answer?
Mrs. B.
What about Mrs. B?
The boss thinks you ought to take her on, Meg, as a partner.
Partner? He's going stir-crazy.
Shall I tell him that's your opinion?
What's the matter with him? Don't he know that Mrs. B retired out of the business after she served that 5-year stretch?
He thinks she ain't too retired to be talked to.
Them old dames, they put ideas in the girls' heads. They work against the house.
He ain't suggesting any old dame. He's talking about Mrs. B, who knows more about this business than anybody, including you.
If Mrs. B tells the girls to stick, Ness or no Ness, they'll stick.
In other words, Meg, you get Mrs. B or you get out.
Red.
No, Meg. No killing.
You don't give me no orders, cockroach.
You shoot him, Mig. You're shooting the boss's arm.
You put something to me like an idea. Maybe I'll listen.
You think it's a good idea?
Do you think what's a good idea, cockroach?
Mrs. B.
Oh, Mrs. B. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it ain't. Suppose I let you know after I talk it over with her. Is that all right with you?
Sure, Meg.
Is that all right with the other cockroaches?
Fine, Meg, fine.
Sure.
You take it easy, Red. It looks like Mr. Wheaton has undergone a sudden change of attitude.
What do you want, Meg?
I've come to make you an offer, Mrs. B. I want you in with me.
Thanks, but I'm retired.
I'm offering you 5% of the houses.
I'm still retired.
What's your price?
It's no use, Mig. I don't need any more dough. I made a couple of smart investments when things were good. Besides, I like being respectable. I like waking up in the morning and not worrying about the law busting in. I like getting up early and going to bed early. Most of all, I like being away from all the heartaches of the business. Like that kid the other day, Mary Sage, the one they found dead in that raid.
7.5%.
No.
I didn't hear you.
I said no.
I don't hear no. I only hear yes, Mrs. B.
You'll have to excuse me now. It's feeding time for my girls.
I don't want to have to make my point some other way.
You better not, cutie. I still got a couple of friends who'd be glad to fix you up with a permanent stare.
You've got a price.
Yes, I have. 5 years.
5 what?
5 years. The 5 years I was locked up in prison. Can you pay for those years? That's my price.
I don't get turned down.
Now, don't lose the crease in your pants, cutie. We all have to take the bad with the good. You better go now. My girls don't like company with their meals. You see, Olive? That's the kind of guy I used to have to put up with.
Ernie, you go back in there and open up on her. Don't croak her, just waltz her around a little.
Right, Mig.
Mary Sage was buried in a small cemetery on the outskirts of Chicago. A sextet of girls was drafted by Mrs. B to act as mourners. Elliot Ness was the only man present, other than the minister.
The only man at the gathering. I don't seem to be doing very well.
The girls are scared
Of me?
of Mig Torrance. If he found out that they was talking to you,
What would he do?
oh, something like he's done before. Maybe a little trick with acid. Toss it in a girl's face and she's ruined for life.
He's an all-around charmer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a beaut. He's also got a little trick with a knife. I'll show you. Mr. Ness wants to know why you girls aren't so friendly with him. You want to show him? That's all, honey. Okay.
You like birds, Alice? Ever notice how birds travel in groups? Know why that is? Safety. One little sparrow's easy prey for, say, a hawk. But you get a group of sparrows together and they're a force. A hawk will think twice before he'll mess with all of them.
So?
So it's the same with people. If you girls would get together in a group, you'd be a match for Mig Torrance, and you wouldn't be scared. And together, we might find a way to tame him.
You'll have to excuse me, Mr. Ness, but it's better if I ain't seen talking to you. It's not that I don't trust the girls. It's only that they are girls.
Think about it, Alice.
I try not to think about anything anymore, Mr. Ness.
Who had reported that Red Ferran and Ernie Torrance had led a group of talent scouts into the hinterlands of Mexico to recruit girls for Mig Torrance's establishments. Ness formulated a plan of action on the way from Mrs. B's back to his office. With the help of the Immigration Department and the Mexican government, he was able to set a strategy in motion within 12 hours. The idea was to catch Ernie Torrance and Red Ferran red-handed at the border as they attempted to smuggle the girls into the United States.
How did Ness get onto it? Do, what can you do, cockroach? Come back. Only first, get rid of the evidence, get me? All of them.
Right. Now's the time.
Word of the Mexican slaughter finally broke through the apathy of the Chicago citizens. Prostitution and the men who profited by it were no longer considered some inconsequential dirty joke. The people, through the newspapermen, were demanding news of Ness's campaign against Al Capone's white slave ring, headed by Mig Torrance. There was excitement at Mrs. B's place, too. Torrance's girls were taking their own action. Alice, heeding Ness's advice, formed a group of the girls to combat Mig Torrance on his home ground. They were going to make sure that what happened to the girls in Mexico wasn't going to happen to them in Chicago. News of the multiple murders and the resulting publicity brought Al Capone's emissaries to Mig Torrance once again. This time, Wheaton came prepared.
Is that a way to pay a friendly visit? You come with a gunsel?
I figured Mo here'd cancel your gunsels out.
Mo, sit down. It ain't friendly standing around like that.
He's comfortable.
So the big boss sent you to pressure me some more, huh?
No. He understands how you can't be pressured. Look how you didn't get Mrs. B like he asked.
And all those girls from Mexico.
Can I help it if Ness cut me off in the middle? He's got his ear to my keyhole, I swear.
Sure, Mick. The boss knows it ain't your fault. He figures Ness is too much for you, that's all. He figures maybe Ness is too much for any one man. That's why it's going to take 3 men to do your job.
Nobody's doing my job.
You won't be left out in the cold, Mick. Not altogether. It's just that now you take orders from us. And that means me. I speak for the 3 of us. Oh, I mean the 4 of us.
Don't you remember, Mo? Always by Al's right arm. Well trained, Mig.
I'll be moving in here next week. See that the books are ready for Flanagan to look over. And Goldie will want a list of the alcohol inventory. You know, it's time you took it a little easy, Mig. You overwork too much. You get pains in the stomach. Like that. That's where I gotta get out.
What?
Let me out, Meg.
There is no way out, especially for you.
Stop, you punk! I'll leave the country. I'll never come back.
You'll leave in a box. That's the only way.
Meg, I'll buy my way out.
With what? You got the money with what?
Don't know. I don't know.
Wait a minute. You want to buy your way out? You can.
With what?
With Elliot Ness.
What are you talking about?
What if you could get him here to me so that I could have the satisfaction firsthand of seeing him get a bullet in the head? That'd buy you out, wouldn't it, kid?
You're talking dreams, Meg.
Look where it'd put me with Capone. Right back where I started, only stronger than ever. And Wheaton and his stooges would get lost forever. I'd be doing what the great Capone couldn't do. Think of that, Ernie.
How could I pull it off?
You want out, don't you? Find a way.
Yes, well, I usually try to get home for dinner.
It's important, Mr. Ness. Ernie Torrance wants to quit his brother. He'll be here, too. You may be able to do business with him.
Ernie Torrance. All right, what time?
8 o'clock. Corned beef and cabbage?
Sure, corned beef and cabbage will be fine. Good. And Mrs. B's giving a little dinner party tonight. Seems Ernie Torrance wants to meet me. It wouldn't hurt for you to be outside her place about 7:30.
No reflection on Mrs. B's integrity.
No, not on Mrs. B's integrity.
Hello, boss. He just went upstairs.
Ernie figured good. Kid's all right, my brother. Okay. When he gets Ness out, you go up and finish off Mrs. B.
Well, I thought you and Ernie had an understanding about hands off her.
Yeah, we did, but now you and me got another understanding. I don't like being said no to. Get me?
Let him answer.
Well, I'm willing to make a deal. If you promise to give me a break with the law about my part in the racket, I'll do you a favor.
I can't promise that. But I can assure you the government will be very grateful for your help.
He means unofficially he's going to see you get a break. Right, Mr. Ness?
If he's sincere, so am I.
He's sincere.
All right. Come back to my office with me tonight.
I'll do you one better than that. I'll bring you to Mig tonight. Now, you can take him easy. He don't even carry a gun. All he's got to protect him is one guy, Red Ferran. You could take him by yourself. Well, it's Mig you want, ain't it? I'm telling you, you could take him tonight.
Why? Is he expecting me tonight, Ernie?
No.
You mean is Ernie double-crossing you? Of course not.
Is it a trap, Ernie?
No. No!
You wouldn't be trying to buy a split from your brother with my life, would you?
You cops are all the same. You don't trust nobody.
Ernie, it's not that he doubts you personally. It's part of a cop's job to doubt. You gotta understand.
You want Mig tonight, or don't you?
Where is he?
I'll take you to him so you don't get lost.
You gotta tell my men.
What for? I don't want to see Mig get slaughtered. If you want to come, you come alone.
I'll take the gamble. Come on.
What's special about tonight?
Since when do you ask questions?
We got our rights.
Take them downstairs. See they stay out of the way.
No one's taken us no place.
You'll do what you're told.
Maybe we better go, Alice.
We work here, you know.
Don't let him push you around, Alice.
We got a right to know what's going on.
Lock them in the boiler room, Hank.
Come on, get going. Move, little birdies.
Out there's open country, Meg. Shots are gonna be heard for miles. Take care of the cops?
They've got their orders. A lot of top people around here like to see Ness get it. I'm liable to turn out to be mayor of Chicago for this.
You ought to have a gun on you. Nervous guy like you.
I don't dirty my hands.
What are you stopping here for? Drive up to the door.
We can walk.
Stop Red Ferran from keeping a date with Mrs. B. She knew where you were.
She's a good gal. Hold your fire. You men in there. You're completely surrounded. Are you coming out?
And so the reign of the white slaver, Mig Torrance, was over. The girls he had lived by, he had died by. The hawk was killed by the sparrows. And the next day, the sparrows sang to Ness, a song that helped bring stiff prison sentences to Wheaton, Gold, and Flanagan, and the other key figures in Capone's prostitution setup.